Alright, well, welcome back to Copa America. A ZVZ again. Yay! This is the qualifying match, though, so it actually does matter a little bit. My sarcasm put on hold for the time being. Spawning here in the top right corner of the map from Shot Esports, the Blue Zerg player Days.
The bottom position as the Red Zerg, Hendralisk.
So this is a bit odd coming into this, because first off, it's the first game Hendralisk is probably going to have to take kind of seriously. Same for Days. I imagine he's also had a pretty easy run to get here. But one of the things I'd say right off the bat that Days doesn't have to be worried about is, take a look for a second who he's fighting against. It's a best of 3, no less, but it's against the guy who took on Scarlet and WCS and won. I mean, Hendralisk is going to be a tough nut to crack. 20 spikes for me? I'm seeing none.
I see a little bump here and there.
No, but like, if you hit Control-F, do you actually see any network spikes?
I'm afraid to. Last time I tried to change something on my UI.
What? Control-F just toggles your FPS numbers in the top left.
I know, right? But like when I was... Just don't worry about it, alright? Just,
why are you so good at this?
Why are you so mean to me sometimes?
I'm not, I'm just asking. Okay, I'm sorry.
No, yeah,
Stop
that was
up.
legitimate.
I'm sorry.
That was a legitimate ask. No, but seriously, remember I talked to you about when I had to stream? When I tried to change, I forget what it was. I had to like change the, get rid of the bars, let's say production and like caster and like all that. It would just actually almost crash StarCraft. So I'm a little paranoid if anything. For reals. I'm not gonna touch anything. It's okay.
Okay, well, we got an okay start for this. Looks like they're both gonna just play through it. I mean, we got a pull first versus hatch first. Gas then pull though. A little bit intriguing to see where this is gonna go. Once again, I'll bring up the point where Hendralisk is able to play just about every style of ZVZ, which I think is what makes him such a scary player. Like, there's some players who, they excel at Mutalisks. There's some players like Cats who excel at getting thirds regardless of what build it is. There's some players who this, that, and the other, but Hendralisk is pretty good all around in this matchup. I wouldn't say there's any style that is particularly his weakest. So, regardless of what Days chooses to do here, as long as there's good scouting, I kind of feel... Because again, a little bit confident and admittedly biased towards Hendralisk.
Days looks to be going for a gasless build, which I wouldn't say they've fallen out of favor, but they definitely changed up a lot. They've changed up a lot. If you're gonna go for it, then you don't. If you're gonna go for like that super passive, like what we originally saw from it, it just doesn't seem to work out anymore. They go for a faster third base and then they just swamp you. We've seen that from a couple of pro gamers in Copa America specifically, really. So if he does go for it, it's usually like you have a switch up where you actually go for melee and campus upgrades. You can do an all-in off your own, and you kind of surprise them. You take a much faster third, assuming that they're going to take a faster third. It's not that passive one. So at least I hope it's not the passive one, because then I feel like Hendra's just going to like chew them up and spit them out.
Well, the reason I would say it falls out of favor is because of the way it directly affects the third. It's good for holding all-ins, and it's not good for playing the macro game. Queen does come out, trying to hold these lings. It's gonna need a little bit of help, though. I got a couple lings get involved.
A little bit?
That's more than enough. He's gonna be just fine.
Yeah, you know what? Hendra's getting a lot of lings.
Yeah,
oh, we could be going for an all-in. Back into gas?
Yeah,
he's gonna counterattack. Counterattack with
a... Do you recognize this was gasless?
Oh,
I mean, this is one of those things where gasless is pretty good against him, but considering the fact that it's merry-go-round...
He is not.
He's actually going to need a tumor to fully wall this off with the Evo chambers.
Usually, you get 2 lings in there and you scout the gas timings, but obviously you don't get that chance to do so. Well, if you don't get the wall, you need to get the wall with the queen to the very least. So this is already going a little poorly. He needs to get this wall. Queen, please. There you go. It's still scary, though.
It's really low. There's no transfuse energy.
Oh, you know what? Days has absolutely terrible overload spread. He doesn't know this is coming until just now to see the amount of lings that are popping out. So tries to put the other queen back up. The drones are still the natural where, maybe you would have pulled them if you had seen what was actually coming. There you go. He sees it now for sure, but Spine Crawler's not going to be ready.
A little bit awkward having all the folks who control so heavily on these queens. Let's pick up one of them finally, but... with the Banelings coming out, one of these queens is still incredibly low. Transfuse does go off. These Banelings might just catch those lings.
How did they not catch? There we go. There we go.
They're like okay trades. They're going off a lot in the queens than more than anything else. I think just did mention those network spikes, and it certainly kind of showed up there, as there's a very, very substandard Baneling control, I'd say.
I think so as well. Days had a bit of a shaky start, but that just seems too shaky. And Hendralisk is still continuing on with it too. I feel like Days with that spine guard with one of the lings that he has, he still has 2 queens to block the ramp. He's pretty good to hold, and let's not forget that he went for gasless. So, oh well, I don't know why. Okay, well that queen dies maybe unnecessarily. He still holds it.
Oh, Bane's gets some really good connects this time around though.
Maybe not.
Beforehand it was like lackluster. He's gonna kill the queen. He's gonna be able to bust up here. Now there's nothing but drones left. There's some links popping out in a second's time, but there's still Baneling standing. Okay. Oh, that one to the top of the ramp. Oh, that one to the top of the ramp. He doesn't need this for drones. He needs this to kill the other Zerglings.
That suddenly went terrible. I'm not sure why he went down with those queens. Seems really unnecessary. And that queen was what's stopping Hendralisk from coming up.
Into the Banelings. What is happening today with people doing this?
Well, that was a good move, wasn't it? Because he only sacrificed 3 as opposed to maybe 6.
That could have been much worse. That could have been much worse.
Yeah.
It's still not even cleaned up at this point fully and entirely. Links for links, scrapping out the main. Hendralisk has kind of yielded for now. He's evened it up at least. So what's nice for him is he comes out of this not behind. Let's not forget Daze has also invested a lot into these spine crawlers. Granted, these are what's going to keep him alive longer, but for Hendralisk, he doesn't need to keep up the all-in at this point. The problem is it's kind of hard to count. Like, does my opponent have 12 drones, 20 drones, 19 drones?
And there's kind of no reason not to continue, because as long as your opponent doesn't have speed and banelings, your speedlings can do exactly what Hendralisk is doing, which is darting around and picking off drones.
Yeah, the lack of speed is hurting Daze more than anything else right now. The spine cars are fantastic, but only do so much. Once again, these banelings didn't go off top the spines. They might go up top the legs of the ramp. Oh my God, Daze, please!
Oh, that micro.
Oh, he was dazed and confused. Ugh.
Maybe the lag spike's really coming in for both players here, but now Daze. He's down by, oh wow, Hendralisk was seriously super powering up his drone counts. It almost went to, almost went to double of Daze. Yeah, but he also just, Hendralisk could have gotten a 3rd behind this too. You know, he couldn't got a 3rd, he couldn't gotten 10 more drones, he got 10 more drones. He can still get a 3rd, I think, as well. He's always gonna have that map control. Daze is certainly not gonna get a 3rd for a while. Because even though he's gonna get roaches, and roaches are good only in large numbers against lings, as long as they're only 4, and this happens all the time, they send out like 4 to 5 roaches to try and take that 3rd, and they get swamped by this person who went speedling.
It's so unfortunate for Daze these guys spend all this time, like all his larva right now has to go into drones, nothing else, and while the army supplies are fairly even right now, it's certainly not going to stay that way for much longer, and that +1 weapon upgrades for Hendralisk is kind of a freebie that he earned through this early aggression. And
Daze is going for that very passive style, right? You know, maybe he wasn't going to, but he kind of forgot to get gas, or forgot to loan, I don't know, but he's going for what is kind of fallen out of favor, right? Which is just, you know, plain old get the 2 Eva chambers, get 1-1, get a much later 3rd. It just doesn't work out that much anymore. So he is going to have double upgrades.
Oh, this really irritates me too, because I feel like he could have had a proper wall up at this point as well.
Yeah, this isn't even a proper wall. Oh well. Oh well. It is going to have the double upgrades, so...
But see, this is what I was talking about earlier, guys, and I really want to go back to this. People really heavily criticize like diamond play, low masters play, whatever, but we're seeing the same things coming out of Daze that we see out of most other players, where like, look, this matchup is difficult in the mirror scenario, and sometimes a couple good baneling hits really screw you over, and it happens to the best.
Hendralisk is getting that much faster 3rd, like I talked about. He is on point, even though Daze has not been able to get any roaches. Finally, they start coming out. Hendralisk could go ahead and attack into them, keep that 3rd from getting down even farther. In fact, there's no reason not. He's going to have speed, too, by the time that he pushes out. He can go ahead and snipe it. Yeah, it might not, you know, 20 supply with roaches, or it might not seem like a big deal, especially when like +1 is coming in, or another +1, but it's just like the pace of the game and how much Hendralisk is in control that really says how much he's in the lead.
Well, I gotta give it to Hendralisk here, even with Defender's advantage on the side of Daze. Whether he waits for the 150 push, 100, or if he just goes with what he has, he's just kind of in this fantastic spot. Even making a couple of banelings right now. Kills the queen that was putting out that creep. Sees a very low amount of roaches from his opponent respond. That's going to make him feel good. He's third up before his opponent. When it comes to whether you go mutas or roaches, doesn't really matter what the case is. If you've got a third and your opponent doesn't in this matchup, you're good to go. And Hendralisk is good to go. With a massive drone lead, that income advantage is just going to be what allows him to bully his opponent into submission. And if done correctly, there's just no reason for him to lose to Daze. Not with this sort of lead.
Daze is trying to hit with his 1-1, you know, with an upgrade lead, but no, he has to pull back. Oh man, pulling. It's so few lings, but they're almost guaranteed you're gonna get the kill. Well, maybe not. These roaches help out, but he had to pull back, and that's already worth it for Hendralisk, and he doesn't get this hatchery kill. Not that I think Daze was gonna really kill him if he had pushed forward, but he was planning on doing something.
Well, for Daze, I guess he's got crew spread going for him. You could bring the spine guards to the front lines too, I suppose. I mean, right now, again, Zomgar brought up this whole point on, like, you know, the army supply is not that different right now. This is going to be that defender's advantage. 28 riches versus 32. Really not that significant at the moment. But it's not right now where a lot of this advantage for Hendralisk comes into play. It's more like 5 minutes from now. This is why you get sort of the longer, boring games. Because he's going to be able to get that 200-200 number. When Daze, hell, I don't even know if he'll have enough overlords to max out to 200.
He is rather mineral starved. Both are gas starved. Of course, Daze not having that 5th and 6th gas is really quite painful, especially when you're trying to get an upgrade leader your opponent by going for 2-2.
Spines are huge. I think just sniped one off right off the bat. Not even fighting in range of the second one. They were just now getting involved, but the Roach count 36 over 27, 39 over 27. Even with defender's advantage coming out here for Daze. He does have a 1-1, so he's got the upgrade lead for now, but when those level 2 weapon upgrades kick in here in just a moment, Hendralisk should be able to keep pushing. The concave was his from the start. The reinforcements starting to look a little bit good, but both the spines go down, and those were his greatest advantage in the defense.
No Queen Tilturva coming down to health either, and he pretty much is relying completely now as upgrade finishes on defender's advantage, which is not going to be enough. Gets below 100 supply.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like he'll be able to hold this first wave, but it's not the first wave. It's the second and the third, and the fourth and the fifth, and the reinforcements and the consolidations and the Hydralisk eventually. You know, there's just so much more behind this. Even though right now it looks okay for Daze, it really isn't.
Still down by 13 drones as well, so you always remember. The one thing that Hendralisk could do is trickle in, and he is kind of trickling, but still it's not really that bad. But if you trickle in too many roaches and Daze still kept with a rather large count, a counterattack could be scary. I don't think it's gonna happen though. Hendralisk is still just barely not winning, but you know, winning enough in terms of overall game.
Yeah.
There he goes. Now he's actually winning the fight. So there we go.
The snowball effect, right? If he snipes these upgrades, that'd be really nice, but doesn't need to prioritize that and just keep the roach count low. Again, we've always talked about like what good a 3-3 if you've only got 4 roaches. Then in this case, I won't even barely be 2-2. Joe's being pulled into this out of desperation, out of necessity, however you want to view that, but Hendralisk just has too much. 25 roaches over 8.
Yeah. You can't really blame the game plan, which I might have if it was any other circumstances. It was just that attack from Hendralisk, the banelings getting the hits that they did. Maybe some miscontrol due to lag. But Daze, he was completely outplayed, but he was just a few mistakes in ZVZ. That's what I was gonna bring up a point. Like Hendralisk might be a little worried because again, a few mistakes in ZVZ with Baneling, suddenly things get crazy. But it's still, it didn't happen for Daze. It happened against Daze.
Well, game number 1 goes in the favor of Hendralisk. Emphasis on the fact that it was game number 1. We should get the second game up here in just a second. I'm actually just gonna go refill my water real quick. So be right. Okay. Salutations.
What's up? Get into the game.
Hmm?
Is there a game?
I don't know, not yet. I never know if we're supposed to, because like half the time we start hosting, then we get invited. So it's like I never know if it's our responsibility or not. Okay, well, I've asked the admins if they're hosting, or, well, more specifically requested that they host. Alright, Hendralisk just invited me to Overgrowth, okay.
Okay, then be right back.
Alright, map number 2. Coming down on Overgrowth here. Hendralisk is leading 1-0 if you've just tuned in. Cool beans. Once again, this is a qualifying match, so for Days, this is pretty important. His life is on the line. His tournament life, more importantly than that. Because without this game, he cannot get into Copa America Season 3. Ready when you guys are. Okay, Overgrowth loading in. Let's hop into it.
Hello.
Ka-chow!
Sound effects.
Yeah, that was my switch scene sound effect.
Cha.
Alright, welcome back, guys. This is Copa America. Oops, that's not the score. That's the score. This is game number 2 in a qualifying round. Spawning here in the top right corner of the map. Currently leading this series from Complexity. It's the red Zerg player, Hendralisk.
The bottom left as the blue Zerg. It's Days.
Of course, for Days, this game, this match, pretty important. If he wants a chance to play in Copa America through the group stages, get some points, some cash, this is his last chance to do it. He's got to turn it around now, because if he doesn't lose this, there's no loser's bracket. Or sorry, if he doesn't win this, there's no loser's bracket. So he's really got to turn this again around against Hendralisk, who I guess is still lagging a little bit. Some concerns were mentioned before the game got started, but hopefully nothing that will impact his play.
Usually we can blame the other casters, but there's no other casters in here.
Yeah, well, it really is actually a caster. I mean, there are times we've certainly been guilty. You've got that one guy who lags or just straight up lags out of the game, but
It's true. It's true. It's just, I don't know, the joke evolved from Emil always getting called out to just, like, other casters in general.
yeah, Emil's just become like a lag meme at this point. Even people who probably have never casted Emil are probably like, Emil!
Yeah. So I have this term for my friend, right? His name is White Wing, and he does a bunch of really, like, he's such a Protoss, right? So I have a lot of terms what I call white winging. And apparently that is spread. I must have mentioned it in some other cast and explained it before. Because the guy messaged me and he's like, did you mention it in a cast or something? And I was like, I might have. And he's like, yeah, because I just got like randomly messaged by some guy. Like, are you that white wing? Things spread. You don't know how.
Okay, did you ever watch the cartoon Mighty Ducks when you were young?
Cartoon.
Where it's like it was the hockey team of like actual like Birdman who came from like another planet.
I probably watched it, but I can't remember it.
I just say like White Wing sounds like something right out of a show. Like that's your friend's got a cool ass name, man. That's all I can say.
Well, his white winging isn't really cool. White winging is like spoiling. Why are you doing spoiling? Spoiling something right after it finished.
Oh, I call that zombie grubbing.
No, see, I have like maybe like 8 hours. He's more like 2. Like, you wake up, it ends, and he spoils it.
Admittedly, you're getting better at it, right? But like 5 months ago, the zombie grubbing just blurts everything out. Spoils it for everybody. There's no chance.
No, there was definitely like an 8-hour difference, right? So, anyways, but it's also coming back into a game because you just like mass CTs. That's so frustrating. Oh, white winging, please. Well. This game, tables have turned. Hendralisk is going for the gasless style.
It's gasless for now, but I'm curious to see if he will go truly gasless with this, though. Once again, the reason this fell so heavily out of favor is because without that gas, there's no way you control a third, whether it's yours or your opponent's. If you're stuck with, like, you know, 3 spine crawlers, because, well, that's the extreme, or like 1 spine crawler that I believe was in a Roach Warren and the wall and all these other wonderful things. If you're stuck in your natural, your opponent just has to take a third. That's it. That's all they do to get ahead. I mean, last game we got to see specifically examples of how that economy comes in to win you the game versus Days. I mean, we could agree the bailing damage was cool and all this and that, but it's really just having that extra income, having that extra like 19 drones over his opponent for so long. All of that led to what let him get that many extra roaches.
Of course, if you consider that those mistakes weren't made, he would have had to drone lead himself. Anyways, well, that's the thing though, is that people don't just go for the passive style. Like, you're talking about the passive style, right? That, like, you know, you get the double upgrades and you get a third a little bit later, but hopefully the upgrades make up for it, blah, 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 blah. People are going gasless, but they're getting speed behind it, you know? They get the gas at 5 minutes, they don't just go up to straight eruptors, they do get their own speed, because they know that they need to get a third. They match thirds, they get it super, super early, so like, I don't know, the Zerg player doesn't bother making a bunch of lings where they'd usually do it. They go for their own upgrades and do their own all-in off of it. Kind of a trick, almost. You know, you see gases, you assume they're not going to be aggressive, but sometimes they are. But speaking of aggression, Daze is the one going for the all-in now. Like, its table's completely turned.
It's like Hendralisk read this before it was even coming. Oh, that's not a wall, though! Oh, God! Oh, God, he puts the drones on hold position trying to plug this gap, but there's just nothing here. I feel like he's just lost. GG!
Oh, my God. Wow.
Oh, my God. That wall.
I thought of the best thing ever.
That is...
I'm having flashbacks to when Flash didn't wall off his... You didn't watch the game, it's not funny.
I'm sorry, I'm just lamenting over the fact that one grid point, that right there is like every time you try to put a CC into a wall.
Oh, that's what I was talking about with the Flash game. This is exactly what Flash did. You think that it's a wall off and it's not.
Yeah, it's really irritating. Like, seriously, guys, if you haven't never played Terran, try walling off with a CC. It's the most frustrating thing.
It's frustrating if it's like the angle. So I guess if you spawn in a certain position where the command center's on the bottom, so that it's so big that it kind of obscures the fact that there's a hole, that's the worst. Like, if it's not obscuring it, I think it's just it's your B.
So I got a tweet while this is going on saying we need to make a Give Me a Job tournament. I guess that Wax Angel is tweeting about. Just get like all the players who are now teamless in a tournament.
Oh, did we think of what we weren't going to name it?
We talked about something similar, in the past. It's just, I don't have context for all those guys. I would totally see if they'd be down. I would put up like $1,000. That would like out of base trade money.
From who's teamless now, with Partying Rain and Fantasy going out,
I don't
if
think
you
they
could
care.
get contacts with them.
Well, I was gonna say I don't think they care about the money. Let's be honest, right? Like.
Yeah. Well, apparently Rain already has. No, wait, was it Party? Someone did an interview and they said they already had. I'm in. Oh wait, no, I'm in the wrong one. What the?
You're joining off of me.
I guess that was a mistake I made. I thought I was invited, but it's not.
That'd be cool to see, but that's something we'll have to just fantasize about for now. Or
fantasize.
Have a fantasy, yeah, have a fantasy about.
Yeah.
Well, the last map is gonna be Foxtrot Labs in this best of 3. It really sucks because that last game, Hendralisk, like he read that, he knew that was coming, and
yeah, he's
just that Sim City, man.
Sims are so hard. It's kind of a.
Did you start that game yet? You're gonna make like the whole esports world, right? With,
have you not seen my tweets? I've been playing it. Not.
Why are you not streaming it? Why are you not streaming it?
I didn't want to make the esports one, right? Because
even if you don't make the esports one, yo, stream. I will totally watch you playing Sims. I have no life.
I can't think of how, like, okay, it says something about you to play Sims and how much you have no life to watch Sims. You have no life, no life, no life.
Whatever, dude.
I don't know how to make it funny, right? Maybe it's funny if I don't know, like a YouTube highlights of when it is.
No, it's
funny.
like the drama and stuff that happens. Like when your son's like, you know, they're all loving and good, then for some reason they get divorced, you start cheating with your neighbor. And
I don't play it like that though. I don't play like free, I guess you would say, right? I force them to do things. I'm like, you are paired up with you. GP.
You too? Yeah. Together for life. Don't even think about it.
No kiss.
Yeah. No kiss.
I will totally stream the pro gamer one. It's just a matter of making the pro gamers in the Sims, right? And that's what takes up so much time.
I could see you spending like an hour like spinning around like, no, Jaedong's cheeks aren't accurate. I need to like
and the
thin
Sims
them out.
4 Oh my god, The Sims 4, you can like, it's a push and pull thing. It's no longer just like pick a preset, so it's so detailed. Make art.
Well, Sims aside, we are in a very important match. This is game 3, and this is the qualifying match. This determines which of these two will go through to the Copa America group stages and actually play in the season for combination prizes and points. Hendralisk was going to be my favorite for today, but he's on the rocks right now. Let's see if he can turn it around. Spotting the bottom right corner of the map. It's the red Zerg player from Complexity, Hendralisk.
In the top left, stopping at 8.
Oh.
It's Days.
I kind of feel like this is one of those moves, though. Like, there's some pools you get down with. You're like, 10 pool, great. This can be economic. Sometimes it's Bailings, whatever.
I'm down
13
with that.
pool, whatever. But 8 pools are sometimes, I feel like, they can shoot you. You shoot yourself in the foot sometimes with this, because Drone Micro can handle this pretty well. As long as Hendralisk, hell, even if he goes hatchery first, I still feel like you can hold this off if done absolutely perfectly.
Yeah. Well, I think we've been proven time and time again that you can legitimately hold off anything. It just depends on, the micro, right? Impact holds off a 10 pool Bailing with the hatch
with
first.
like a lot of
Like,
queens.
What?
Or
Yeah.
like Hearthstone loses Proxy Gates, this 14cc. I mean,
Exactly, right? So, we always talk about how it's a complete build or win. We kind of write things off, but then someone miscontrols their Bailings horribly, absolutely, entirely.
Yeah.
Like, oh, okay.
Well, that kind of goes back to the point where, like, I feel like you could shoot yourself in the foot with this. But if he goes gas before pool, I think that's the worst possible opening. And Hendralisk, please.
That's what he did last time, wasn't it?
Oh, I went for the 16th drone. Dude, put a pull down. Don't be greedy. He's going for the...
Days.
This is a bold move out of Days. Like, make no mistake, guys. This isn't an auto win for him. This is the best possible scenario for him to be coming up against. Shy of, like, maybe 3 hatch before a pull, but you would never, ever, ever, ever do that CVC.
Oh, wait, no. Someone did do it. I remember. I think it was.
Okay, standardly, you would never, ever, 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 ever,
standardly, no. But I guess it's one of those really, 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 really rare stuff.
So
Hendralisk has seen this coming. He sees Lings with the Overlord, so he's
right. But there's nothing else he can really do about it right now, right? Like, you can't build. It's not like you can start your spine without the spawning pool. I kind of don't like that Days went for the hatchery. Do kind of wish he would just abduct to the main first.
It's one of those. You don't know he didn't go for a pool, right? So you don't know if Lings are on the way. I think he sees it now, and he kind of wishes maybe he did. But the hatchery is a for sure kill. Where well, now
I guess
he
to
knows
buy himself time. But if he actually just buys some time, a couple Rune Lings come out. This actually kind of works because now his own Lings are on the way, and while he might not be a hatchery ahead, he's got drone lead.
He does. I wonder if maybe he thought it was more than what it was, because his Overlord didn't see the hatchery maybe until it was too late to cancel. Days hatchery, that is. So I don't know, but he does lose it. He does still have that drone lead, which is pretty important. He's only going to be behind the hatchery battle.
Oh, but you know what? He managed to get speed up behind this. I can't believe he got speed up behind this.
Yeah, sure.
So gotta be careful with this Ling fight, though. This is a really scary fight to take. I was gonna try and take a hatchery, but now I recognize maybe he doesn't have the numbers for it. With the Queen involved, though, the Queen dynamically changes things. Like, one Queen versus many Lings, not so good. But one Queen with these Lings, oh, it spanks the Lings.
Yeah, and Hendralisk, it's almost like you don't want to deny him getting this hatchery, right? You're just threatening for him to make more Lings and hit you with this speedling when you don't have speedlings and you don't have a Baneling nest either. So it's still really scary for Days. And Hendralisk is going to go for the Baneling nest. Like, he's going to...
Well, Days, he skips the Queen to get these extra Lings out, to get the hatchery done sooner. So he doesn't actually have injects going on. So even though he's got a hatchery advantage, he's not going to be able to make this up. He's investing in a spine crawler, kind of necessarily, but this is all minerals in the hole for him. Yes, the drone count is even, and the game's sort of equalizing, and I say some big air quotes, but with speed and Banelings in the way, Hendralisk is going to have a very discernible advantage coming forward.
Yeah, you think you did well because you got the hatchery. They were so greedy, but because they get the gas, it's almost like the person who does the 8 pool is the one who's more scared. This counterattack is very, very threatening. And that first game, he had it down pat. We was like, oh, he's the Queen's in the Oval, like, and he has his own Baneling nest, and well, then he messed up once, and that's all it takes. So we'll see what Hendralisk can do. Still making Lings. He's now down in drones. Oh, no, I was making drones. That was Days. I guess I like this too. Because no matter what, you have speedlings either to attack and maybe find something, or you have speedlings to have map control and you just drone up behind it. And I think Daze is kind of calling the bluff as it was, right? Because he's droning again too.
There's just too many banelings for the spine to focus. Does get a decent hit, nothing great so far, but the second baneling hit, just gonna go straight for the mineral lines. Speedling's gonna take the advantage over the lings. He's just gonna protect this.
Did you transfuse a ling? Did you really? You did.
Get some good
5
connects.
drones were down.
That was the advantage Daze had at this point. He's got the queen still standing, but Hendralisk, he's been droning behind this. He didn't follow this up with a ton more lings. This wasn't a crazy all-in. Meant to do some damage, and it certainly did level the playing field. Downside is he doesn't have anything to fight with right now. So if Daze was the one going for a counter, well, I guess
Daze can't.
Yeah, he's got a
has
speed.
slow lings.
Yeah.
So it's the slowest counterattack ever, and Hendralisk is gonna, his larva will pop by then, and he'll have a bunch of lings on the way. Daze, I think, recognizes that, doesn't even try. Well, he's sending his things across the map, but I guess that he's trying to.
He's trying to transition to roaches behind. That's what he's trying to do.
Yeah, he's trying to drone up behind it, catch up that way.
All right, I like the queens on the ramp. I like them better if the banelings do complete. There's a lot of drones here, though. They could buffer if necessary. This shouldn't be too scary. Banelings finish up here in just a second.
Yeah. Hendralisk may be overreacting or thinking about counterattacking again. 20 lings on the way.
If you can go for that big attack, I mean, it'll work because they'll hit before roaches are out.
That's true, and the question is, how many roaches can Daze even make, right? So he has 2 queens and a spine crawler, so that's already a pretty formidable defense. Any roach on top of it's pretty good.
Let's not forget the supply block that's going to come in. He'll probably get about 6 roaches at a most.
Yeah, that's true. Well, he runs out of money before he gets supply block. I don't think. Well, no. Hendralisk is gonna go ahead and try and bust this. This 6 roaches, a spine crawler, 2 spine crawlers, even Daze adding on another one. That's enough. He's also not gonna take any chances of miscontrolling his drones again.
Yeah, I actually kind of like that move, to be honest.
Yeah, especially if the lag is still affecting him.
So he's gonna surround on most things here, but there's too much surface there. Nice transfuse on that one roach actually. Sends Hendralisk packing.
Yeah. Okay, so that wasn't that great, but Hendralisk still has a really good drone lead.
Yeah.
He's got all his gases, his own roach warren as well.
Yo, I'm loving our fans that come up to cheer us on for Copa America all the time, by the way. I know some of you guys watch at Base Trade TV, the host. I know some of you guys are looking here in chat. They see our emoticons we use. Big shout out to all the Base Trade TVers out there, or Base Tradians, I should say. You guys are awesome.
And love us.
I do. I mean, seriously, thank you guys. Like, even if we're here at Copa America, it's awesome to see you guys come to support us. So I hope you're enjoying the show. But Hendralisk does do the whole position, kill a couple drones. Really not a lot of opportunity, though. With the roaches on the ramp, with the spine crawler where it is, he can't get much damage done.
Yeah. Daze is so careful about keeping something on the ramp, though. Like, this one queen not doing anything, not spreading any creep. Just trying to help out blocking it out. Daze is going to have much later roach speed, so Hendralisk is going to start darting in and out. Again, it all comes back to that map control. He's up by only 4 drones, but remember, he's been up in drones in general for a very long time.
He's still killing off drones here.
Yeah.
That whole position is actually working out pretty well, but perhaps the baneling or 2 would have been better. Meanwhile, roaches for Hendralisk are out with the defender's advantage combined with the spine crawler.
This is very dangerous. For someone who has no scouting.
Yeah.
No, exactly. For Daze. For someone who has no scouting, you have no idea how fast their lair was. And whether their roach speed is going to finish while they're chasing you, or you're going to be able to get away.
I mean, Daze is going to have better upgrades this game, which is nice. But Hendralisk is going to have a 3rd, which I feel is better.
Yeah, it's the first game all over again, isn't it?
Lings actually might get a surround or 2 on some of these roaches.
Yeah, Daze also supply blocked. Ooh, build Overlord, do you have money? There we go. Alright, so it was less about maybe getting away with speed and more just about like, having enough roaches to wait, like, to hold on.
Volley the spine crawl. I think he's going to snipe this off and disengage if he can. Ooh, so many transfuses going into this, though, really making it hardly worth his while. Still does back off this as expected. He does have speed over his opponent, so there is no chasing.
Exactly. He can do this as long as he wants. Even when his opponent has speed, because he's gonna have the roach numbers again. Very similar to last game.
We so sick to have like a ninja base for Daze, like top right or something.
Have we ever seen a ninja base in ZVZ?
I don't know, but there's probably been one. I mean, statistically speaking, over all the games we've cast, there's definitely probably been one at some point. But whether it was effective or not, I can't remember. Usually, it's those are the games you stick with, right? That like are in your memory forever.
Right. You know, obviously it's good for Terran because you can just mule drop there too. Protoss do it all the time as well. Not all the time, but sometimes. With Zerg, not so much.
Well, Hendralisk has his 3rd base up, and I mean, Days is on the way, but this is that same story as you put. It's kind of like game 1 again. The difference is Hendralisk doesn't have a massive drone lead, but it's the income spread a lot better. Saturation split much more efficiently.
Yeah, and having that drone lead for so long too, it wasn't a new thing. He's been in the lead for a very long time. So this is where one of those the graphs again would have been so helpful. One day maybe. Days is gonna finish up his 1-1. Big difference is that it looks like his third is in fact going to not only finish, but maybe even start droning. Whereas in that first game of America round, it did finish, but it was just right on the crux of like Hendralisk attacking and beating him back, right? So Hendralisk might wait a little bit longer, maybe up to like 180 before pushing out, as opposed to where he was kind of marine rallying it, you know, from 120.
Well, the roach count certainly something to take into consideration right now. It's a slow ramp up, and even though Hendralisk does have a lead, I think he himself knows that he can't quite just push and YOLO in. Like, he's gonna come across the map with his roaches and get a feel for what's going on. He's had some amazing scouting this game because Days is not shutting anything down, but I mean, it's 50 roaches versus 38. It's either you fight around this third or you fight around a natural. Either way, Days has to go up a ramp, which tends to lead to a choke, which means Hendralisk gets the concave. So, in every way, it's better for him.
Yep, Hendralisk waited about 180 to attack. A little supply block here and there. I mean, he wasn't completely maxed out.
He's got the roach lead, upgrade disadvantage, but as we see, moving into the roaches kind of prevented that concave from taking that big advantage. Hendralisk still streaming units across, though. It's getting a little bit scary in the front lines, but he should theoretically still be able to take this.
Good beginning. Fizzled out the end for Days. We think with the upgrade that would be the opposite, but not so much. Just roach counts. It's just a very easy way to identify who's gonna win. Hendralisk gonna be pushed back again. Very similar to the first game. I doubt we're gonna we might even see a transition this game.
The one thing not so similar to this game, or to the first game though, is Hendralisk had that level 2 upgrades for that attack. This time he didn't, only just now finished. But also, Days still has a pretty decent drone count. After that first attack, Hendralisk weeded out quite a few of them.
I think we're not gonna see Hendralisk win this game on roaches alone. He might get the roach burrow or the Hydralisk or something, but no, make no mistake, he's still very much in the lead of the game. Just not going to end it here.
Well, Hendralisk is he's really good at being that guy who segments off like 5 roaches left and right. Oh, I like that Contaminator actually playing stuff sometimes with the upgrades. But yeah, usually he's the guy who sees segment off like 4 roaches to the third, 8 to the natural, 12 to the main, you know, just try and get as much drone kills as he can and hope that Days doesn't react properly. But at the same time, he's kind of got this brute force element definitely on his side. Days, if he can get to 2-2, will be in a pretty comfortable spot. Those upgrades are going to start getting huge around the 2-2 mark, but 1-1 versus 2-0, it's kind of a bit of a wash for the time being.
And just moving in here. Still is not invested into any further tech. Going to, as you said, brute force it. Let's go into concave. That was probably better for Days. But Days, you know, before we had 3 queens on helping out, Hendralisk is going to push in. It's kind of
actually don't
really
like
hard
this
to
position
tell.
for him. Like,
yeah,
before when he bullied up into the roaches, he had all of his roaches firing. But as we see, so many roaches in the back just running around, scuttling, trying to get to the front lines. This actually gives Days a much better chance to fight. Hendralisk, in the meantime, I don't know why he's fighting. He could go south and get a concave himself, pushing into that third. Might be his best bet. I think he's recognized this too. Hoping Days goes the wrong way, reacts inappropriately. But there we are, that segment of roaches we talked about before. So 3 roaches heading to the mineral line, going to be able to kill quite a few drones while he dances out here in the main force. Now Days is segmented too many roaches to defend against those 3. This gives Hendralisk a huge lead on the front lines. Although they will come back to sandwich, we'll see if that's going to be enough.
Queen's going to go on the action as well. He needs every little bit that he needs. The Queen is attacking the overload, not helping. He does push him back again. Those upgrades are getting better and better for him. +2 weapons did finish. It was long before that attack. Wait till +2 carapace too. Hendralisk has still not chosen additional tech. He is getting further behind the longer this game goes on.
I'm getting really scared for this guy. He does think a good fight here in the middle of the map, but as you see, Days finally takes the advantage of roaches. Every advantage Hendralisk had this game has dissipated at this point. Speed no longer here. Upgrades no longer in its favor. Third base not even his big advantage. This is really scary for him, and the question is, like, what do you do as the follow-up to this? Because your opponent's going to have better upgrades. I think he knows this too. He's not going to try and go for those level 2, but what he could and should do is maybe go for some banelings, go for that one hit in the game punch, maybe transition to infestors. We see a lot of Zerg players definitely loving infestors over Hydras, but if he just keeps going pure roach, starting level 1 armor upgrades, he's going to be fighting the longest, toughest game of his life.
Yeah, pure roach. First attack, great. Second attack, good. Third attack, eh. Any attack after that, probably should have just waited and gotten a lead somewhere else. You know, when your head get further ahead somewhere else. Then obviously it wasn't gonna be an upgrades because he just did not start them. But you know, Hydralisk, Infestors, maybe that Baneling punch you were talking about. But instead he just fizzled out with just roaches. Still not out of it though, but just now it's tables have turned back in a Dave's favor. Daze doesn't have to feel so like you know, he'd have to stay in his own base. He can start trying to move out and attack maybe. He might be afraid that Hendralisk does in fact have burrow though, as it is very popular, and you know, Hendralisk has already started segmenting off roaches, so he might be still a little too scared to move out on his own. He takes a 4th though, and that's a good move. And Hendralisk is in fact going for that burrow. Just, you know, 21-minute burrow is pretty out there.
I mean, it's still good to have, though. You can heal your units, you're covered from a fight, instead of with like 10 injured,
sure.
almost dead roaches. You have them full for the next fight. But they're really good for sneaking around. That sort of snaky snake thing where you go around, burrow in the mineral lines, unburrow when the actual fight begins.
Yeah. And now we go, I guess we're time to flip the tables on Daze again. So what is Daze's next move? And okay, he's going to get Burrow as well. So it's going to be Roach, Burrow versus Roach. No, he gets Burrow, but also a Hydralisk Den. Okay, so Roach, Burrow versus a Hydralisk Den. This is probably what we see all the time. One person chooses the Burrow, one person chooses either Infestors or Hydralisks. Who is going to win? Who's going to get the control over the full base?
It's going to come down to that concave. I mean, so much of this has just been positional advantage for Daze, giving him huge edges in this game. Hendralisk might have a spine call here, and that's cool and all, but if he can't get the concave, it doesn't matter. Roaches do sneak off. Daze segments a lot to the natural, actually. Hendralisk has to spend a lot. He actually can't even get there to defend because he's got to fight in the front of the lines. Roach is stuck running into a concave. Top of the ramp in the favor of Daze. This is not looking good for a complexity player. Not all of his roaches are fighting. He's got the defender's advantage. The roach count's 45 to 34, though. Is this going to be enough for Hendralisk to break? It's 2-2 versus 2-1 in the upgrades. Concave still in the favor of Daze. This is looking really bad for Hendralisk.
Yeah, it is. This is... the supplies are still even, and of course, with his 24 roaches popping out, he will win just with the defender's advantage. They both had a similar bank, but now Daze has 700, 400, and he's still keeping up with the supply pretty much. So now I'm feeling pretty... not okay for Hendralisk, but Hendralisk pushes this back. His upgrades have finally finished, so we can start the roach attack.
That burrow, though. Surprised how even this ends up coming after that fight, truthfully. That should have been so much more one-sided for Daze, but he just, I guess maybe didn't have a rally, maybe an inject or something. Either way, wasn't able to bully Hendralisk into submission. Now on the retreat here, Hendralisk doesn't exactly have a huge lead, but as we see, oh, that burrow, that tunneling claws upgrade also lends to this. Makes them regenerate even faster.
He's not gonna be able to save his 4th. This is what I thought. This is what I thought it was gonna come down to. Either player sniping this 4th and getting away. It's gonna be really big. Hendralisk even not trying to snipe and get away with all of his forces to segment half of them off. He will get away with both sides. That's great.
I think the tunneling claw escape. I'm surprised Daze actually let both sides get away. I thought at least one of those two was going to go down, but he didn't pursue either. So that 4th does go down. And this is Hendralisk's chance to start turning it around because he's going to be mining off of this base for quite some time. Yeah, the drone count's even, but it's not going to be the same income. As we can see down here in the bottom right, oh my god, that income difference.
Yeah. As long as he can keep Daze, again, with the upgrade lead, his army is technically still better. It just, what can Hendralisk do with that burrow and that tunneling claws? Well, up front, engagements still are going to go badly for him, but if he can push Daze back again and start, you know, just killing off bases like exactly like he did, like the 4th base. Daze could easily get a 4th base. I'm not sure why he's not. He definitely has enough bang for it. It should be immediate. Like, he's just going to attack. Like, I think you should attack and expand.
Oh, Hendralisk actually sandwiching this in pretty well here. We'll see if this ends up counting. The top of his Roach Force definitely has that concave, but is this going to be enough? He's got defender's advantage filtering in here.
Even without that upgrade, he has such a good position.
It's surprisingly back and forth, though. Daze has roaches kind of lazy rally here in the middle of the map, not even fighting with every single unit available. Hendralisk burrowing roaches. Oh my goodness.
No,
this...
over here.
No, oh, over here. Oh no! Oh, the pathing! Pathing is just move committing all these roaches in, and that's gonna be Daze's army just given away for free. Minimize. GG.
It looked like such a good idea because Hendralisk's army was not together, but that ended up being better for Hendralisk as he gets that complete surround, and of course minimizing StarCraft2.
So close to losing that game, so close to being knocked out of Copa America, but Hendralisk at the 11th hour turns it around, and a big congratulations to him.